Welcome back, my beautiful Lycan brothers. Have you ever seen a Lycan look this goddamn good? Well, today you have, and it's going to be an interesting one. We are going to take some blue cobalt gear and build the highest armor pen set we can. Just for pure satisfaction and experimenting. And no, we will not be getting any satisfaction from our other furry friends. This is the Morningstar base kit. Not bad damage, and you're probably wondering, what the hell am I doing? Well, I'm using short sword to get sword mastery, and then Morningstar to get as much armor pen as possible. And we're going to take this thing from literally the ground up and see if we can get to a point where, hey, maybe this will actually be useful. And why not try crafted gear, because it's fun as hell. Rolling gear, cobalt, copper, mining, all those things. Really, really great. And that is a warlock with phantom eyes. And damn, is it ever annoying. But just when you think you have them in a good spot, things turn quickly. Now all these mobs are aggroed onto me instead of him, and we're bleeding damage or HP with every curse of pain he lands. Very, very difficult, and by the time I can re-engage, he will probably have phantom eyes again. Try to get him with the bow, but now we're way too close. We're just way too close to this guy. And, yeah, our life is slowly draining. Luckily for us, our movement speed with the Morningstar isn't horrible. They did nerf move speed on the short sword. Only reason why I'm using the short sword may be confusing to you guys because it's actually giving me the action speed and weapon damage from sword mastery. So I'm getting sword mastery from that alone. I was considering doing this with a falchion or other weapon, but I wouldn't get the armor pen I really want. One thing I love about Morningstar, it has like a sneaky bit of reach on top of a really nice thump every time you hit somebody. I know you're probably thinking, damn, this is just going to be pure failure, but success is on the horizon, trust me. In the next game, using almost identical gear, getting the feel from Morningstar was starting to come together a little bit. And just ignore what you just saw there. We were improving, okay? It was starting to get smoother. One thing that is important about the Morningstar, it has just a little bit better reach than the flange mace. I will test the flange mace likely going forward, but I find I miss with it all the time. The straight up and down action of the flange mace just leaves me very, very frustrated sometimes missing rogues in close. Morningstar, as you're about to see, has a decent sweep from side to side on its swings, and boy does it ever feel good. The crunch is crazy. When I first start recording some of these little moments, I actually thought my audio was messed up because the oomph of that weapon, like the balls behind that weapon are just incredible. It's got so much thumping power. It's perfect for this Lycan warlord. So, we get into a fight with a nice little longsword guy, and this is why we have the short sword. It's so good and close. It's so freaking good, man. It feels so satisfying too. So both these weapons are some of my more favorite weapons in the game. And fight after fight after fight in this game, it just kept going well for us. And I know a lot of people were probably saying, like, look, you're just Timmy stomping everybody. But you just wait until we start equipping a few greens, and you witness the people that are actually Timmy stomping. We run into a character that had such crazy gear. Well, maybe it wasn't completely absurd, but it had to be a little bit shocked when I'm wearing a few odds and ends. In this fight, same idea, adrenaline rush, sprint, get this Morningstar going. We kicked him in the head, I think, twice, and that is game over for him. So this was all fine and dandy, but really, this was in like the noob lobbies, you could say. So we throw on a little bit, and I mean just a fraction of some armor pen gear, just to kind of like test things out. And we upgraded our Morningstar to a white one. Our damage totals are not that bad. Flange mace would probably do better. You're not getting the 10% damage reduction from it not being a true fighter weapon. So weapon mastery is needed for flange mace, but I run weapon master anyway because I love recurve bow. And recurve bows are really good at hitting druids. However, some druids are just very, very strong, and I should have known. I waited and got all cocky and confident after that last match, and I was like, yes, my Lycan blood is pumping. I'm gonna go into this cave room and kill this guy, take his juicy loot. We got him in a bad spot. Everything's kind of going our way. And confidence can be, you know, a bit of a killer. I should have, like I said, I should have known better when he killed this thing in, like, no time at all. I saw the new gear in the floor, I'm like, okay, maybe he's, like, somewhat of a newly kitted guy, shouldn't have too much damage. Yeah. So, if someone's building strength on Druid, you cannot go anywhere near bear form. And now this is part of the problem of being a Lycan king. You will take insane headshot damage. This would have been the first time I've witnessed a full strength bear build. And when fur meets fur, I guess Lycan loses. However, we go back in. We were okay with this. We really want to get a decent fight in with our green upgraded Morningstar, hitting solid numbers. And we get this Bard. A very, very challenging 1v1 in solos lately. If a Bard knows what he's doing, plays the right notes at the right time, he can be a really chunky individual. And this is where some of that armor pen may actually come in handy. Remember, armor pen only really works at lowering the enemy's PDR by a percentage. So if he's at 40, and I lower it by 30, you know, it's not I'm actually lowering it to 10%. I'm lowering it by 30% of that 40. So you do have to be kind of careful with that. We get into a bit of a slinging match and we're kind of tired of it, so we pounce on this guy. However, Bards are also quick. Perfect opportunity for the Francisca axe, followed by clubbing this man, which I thought was going to be to death. But it was delayed slightly. Once again, Morningstar has a decent on-hit slow. I'm pretty sure it's 20% on-hit slow as well. And that range isn't bad, but I think if I did Morningstar into Short Sword, I may be able to sneak in a few more hits. It's like I said, very much a learning curve. And we are just experimenting with this strange idea of using Cobalt gear to chew through some armor that is found in the game. After looting this guy, we go back to our rightful place mining Cobalt, and this very hot and horny barbarian decides he wants a piece of the action. Unfortunately for him, he's dragged just about every mob in the game onto him. Gives us a bit of an opportunity here to maybe land a few range hits. This is not ideal. I mean, it's ideal because I have the distance, but every time I go into an engagement as Lycan, it feels difficult because of the headshot damage. It is just so nuts. So crazy. I noticed he kept putting his weapons away to open these doors. I thought it could be a really great opportunity just to smash this guy in the face with my Morningstar. Short sword in close, throws up the shield perfectly. After he blocks this, we decide, yeah, it's a short sword fight. That is very much a short sword fight. We are still hitting for decent damage with our green short sword. This guy had stacked some true physical damage rings and the other few odds and ends, which actually made me feel like, okay, we're kind of matching gear here. We were not getting gear diffed. I was not gear diffing this guy. Those rings were worth 200 or 300 gold each, and we succeeded, so it felt kind of nice. Once again, mine our Cobalt. We leave successfully. And now it's time to show off our beautiful blue Lycan King, which is his Cobalt kit. The kit isn't amazing. There's a few okay stat rolls. For whatever reason, I just roll a ton of luck when I roll Cobalt gear. We do touch this up a little bit, give ourselves a nice cape with armor pen, and yes, every piece of gear has armor pen. Every single one, which is why Cobalt kind of fits into a weird spot. Because a lot of these armor pieces you can't actually roll armor pen onto. As you can see there, in the bottom left-hand corner, 16.5% armor pen without my weapons out. So you add the 15% from my Morningstar, and then the 3% I have rolled on my short sword, it's another 18%, and you're looking at 36% armor penetration. And like I said earlier, no, that is not dropping their PDR or their armor resistance by 36%. It is reducing, let's say they have 50% by 36%, which would be an 18% reduction in their total PDR. Not terrible. 18% if you're hitting, you know, 80, 90 damage per swing. 18% extra damage on top of that is kind of nice. Kind of nice. And also, remember, most of these pieces of gear I've purchased or acquired, even Cobalt, is dirt cheap and really easy to farm. Everything is dirt cheap. Everyone is going for other stats. I'm not saying this is meta. I'm just saying, if you're a Lycan warlord like myself, a Lycan king rather, you're gonna try out some rather sinister and interesting things. We get this guy where I think we want him. Perfect. But I believe that was a hand hit, and this guy did not die quite as fast as I hoped. And I don't know what happened to one of his swings, but it just seemed to kind of fly right by us, which was very lucky. I'm not sure if that was a headshot he hit us with or what happened there, because that was almost once again one-shot KO on this poor Lycan. And this is where I started to realize maybe I need to build in some more HP and focus on, you know, at least maybe HP gloves or an HP cape. And that may help us survive just a few more hits longer. We don't have a lot of HP. It is just part of playing fighter class and trying to build, and also the rolls on this was probably the worst Cobalt kit I had. I have 2 or 3 more which I want to try, and I'll maybe make videos on them as well. But so far, I'm really, really encouraged by Morningstar's short sword and the opportunities it has. Slayer Fighter is already really strong, I understand that, but it's kind of an interesting way to enjoy playing fighter class a little differently. And maybe, who knows, going forward, they'll make Armor Pen a little bit more obtainable, which in a way kind of scares me. My PDR fighter friends would not enjoy that. We get into this tussle with a ranger, and by tussle, I mean a 10-minute fight going back and forth, closing doors, opening doors, swinging at each other, doing all kinds of shit, but nothing ever happening. So eventually, we find a way to get close enough to him. But it was not easy. And it's one surefire way to lose this kit, chasing after a survivable ranger who could potentially be stacking true damage or whatever, and he lands a couple of good headshots, maybe has knockback or the armor pen ability himself. Those survival bows can really hurt. And as you're witnessing,
please. Oh.
It can be madly frustrating trying to walk down a ranger. Once we cleared this mob, he was silly enough to eventually fall for a bit of our bait here. I think this guy was just willing to PvP at all costs and wanted to get better at the game. Man, was it ever hard to catch him. 3 Morningstar swings still don't do it, which had me shocked. I likely should have used short sword, but luckily I used the bow once in a while as well, and we pick him off. Just observing what this guy had out of curiosity, yeah, just green stuff, normal, but he did have a fairly nice cape. And this allowed me to once again go back to my favorite spot lately, which is mining some cobalt before this map ended to create more cobalt kits. This was my first night using this setup. I'm probably going to run it from here on, or for a little while at least. And I've had this little idea in my head where I thought it'd be really cool to do almost an entire wipe with just like crafted gear. Everything crafted, handmade, hard-earned, Lycan King worthy. And that's what I think I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to do some more crafted kits with copper. Maybe once we get some ruby silver in there. It's a lot of fun instead of just buying it off the marketplace every time you die. Maybe weapons may be a little difficult. I don't think there's any craftable Morningstars. So if you guys like this video and want to see more stuff like this, or fun Lycan stuff, I also have Twitch, which I really, really hope to get back to more consistently for you guys. It has been a bit of a struggle, but this whole Lycan skin has me so in love with just dressing him up, you know, getting a little bit fashionable, throwing out some copper, mixing in a few capes. It's a lot of fun. And if you don't take the game too seriously, maybe some of these little fun moments are for you. So cheers. I'll see you guys all next time.